Hi series, you're welcome to my channel once again. My name is Truth. In today's class, we'll be learning how to make this very beautiful bubble gown with stamp flared. And as you can see on the screen, the gown is giving. And if this is something you would love to learn, please kindly stay tuned to the end of the class. And as you can see on the screen, the back is a backless, and while we have this roper neckline on the back of our dress. So if you would love to learn this, kindly stay to the end. And for this particular dress, I made use of crepe fabric, and this is a tea crepe of which I used 3 trousers. I am sorry I was unable to start my camera before I started folding. It was after I had folded that I checked my camera and I discovered that I did not even start the camera. So I'm sorry. I had already folded this into our cone shape, that is our A-shape format, and after folding at the tip right there, I came down by 10 inches, just as you can see on the screen right now. So that 10 inches will be serving as my neck width measurements for the front pattern. And now this neck width is on fold. This 10 inches is on fold. By the time I will be opening this piece apart, I will have 20 inches, of which is far too much for my neckline. My neckline is supposed to be 6 inches, but because we have this gather at the parts at the neckline of the dress, so that's why I came down by 10. But if you would love to make use of that 6, fine, you can come down by 6 inches. So from that neck width point, I came down with my desired length of 37 inches. And now this desired length varies. It depends on you. It depends on how short or how long you want your dress to be. It can be as short as 35 inches or as long as 40 inches. So you just chose between 35 to 40, but for me I chose 37. And from that 37 inches I added another 6 inches. So if we are adding 6 to 37, it will be giving us 43 inches. So the total length of what I have for this was 43 inches, and this was what you see me measuring across on my fabric. And after measuring that out, I cut and I took off the excess fabric that will not be needing for the project, and we are left with the original fabric on our table. And right now, from that neckline area, I came down by 15 inches. As you can see on the screen, that the back is 15 inches lower than the front. So that's 15 inches that I came down with is where our back piece will be starting from. After that, from the neckline again, I came down by 27 inches. You can see that this dress looks like a two-step gown. It is not a double cut gown, it is a single cut. This 27 inches that I came down with, that is where we'll be adding our elastic in order to create our bubble at the upper part and also our flared at the down part. And that was what I was notching there. And right here, I tried to notch my 15 inches also for where my back piece will be joining together with the front piece. So after this, I turned to the other side of the front piece in order to mark my 27 inches also, just for me to have accurate straight line, as this will enable you to have a straight seam by the time you are adding your elastic, so you will not be shifting from one angle to another. It's just a guide for you to have a straight seam. And after that, I laid another piece of fabric in order to cut our back piece for this dress. And this is what I supposed to do in the beginning of this class, of which I was unable to record, of which I'm sorry for. So after that, I laid my front piece that I had already cut out, and then I tried to fold in the 15 inches that I measured out while we were measuring our front piece. Remember, I told you that the back will be 15 inches shorter at the upper part of the dress than our front piece, and that was what I folded in here. But if you would love your own dress to have the same pattern as the front piece, there is no need of you measuring 15 inches and there is no need of you folding. Just cut the exact shape that you have on your front piece also on the back piece. But because this is a backless dress, and that was why I cut like this. So after cutting, this was what I have. And now after that, that, I try to separate my back from the front piece in order to get the difference between my hemline and the 27 inches I came down by on the front piece. What am I using this for? I will use this to locate where my lines will be starting from on the back piece. So the difference I got was 16.5 inches. And now this 16.5 inches is what I will be transferring on the back fabric. And I will be transferring this right from the hem line. Note, not from the deep neckline. No. I started this from the hem line, so you measure it towards the deep neckline for the back piece. And I did that also on the second part for me to have the same straight curve where I will be adding my elastic, and I went ahead to notch as well. And I folded right here the width for my band, that is that neck roper that we have that serve as our neck band, and at the same time the rope that extended to the back. And I used the width of 6 inches on fold, while by the time I separate it, I will be having the width of 6 inches, and the length of the rope was 60 inches. And here was me trying to slant, that is to shape the edge of my ropers. And then I tried to locate the midpoint, of which I notched, then I pinned down. Why was I doing this? For me to have accurate edge in order to measure my neck width measurement, and that was 3 inches. That means on fold I came out by 3 inches from the center point. And now this was me trying to show you how we're going to sew this. I'm going to weave this. After weaving, then I will fold by 1.25 inches. I will weave the hem line also, and then fold by 0.5 inches. On the front piece, that was the back piece. On the front piece, I will be weaving by 0. I will be weaving the down part, and at the same time fold by 0.5 inches. But at the upper part, I will make sure I gather the excess I have there to 6 inches, just as I have shown on the screen. And now for the roper, I am going to stitch from the edge of that rope to the first notch over 3 inches, and then I will start from the second notch over 3 inches down to the end of the other side. So that is how we're going to sew that. And after that, I have gone ahead to weave, and then I stitched. The width of the elastic I used was 1 inch, and then the width I folded was 1.25, and the remaining 0.25 served as the ease for the elastic. And I already went ahead to gather this neckline for the front to 6 inches, and I will be inserting this into the space, that is the 6 inches space I left on my rope. And by the time I was ironing this, I had already folded this in, but I made sure that one part of the rope is longer than the other while folding. Why? By the time I will be adding this, sewing these on my fabric, for me to have a firm seam on the other hand. And the place that will be serving as our armhole, I had gone ahead also to stitch it down to that 15 inches. And here was me trying to trim the excess on our neckline for us not to have bulky effects at the neck part. And I try to pin this down. After pinning this, I will be taking it to my sewing machine and stitch down. You just stop stitch, and while you're stitching this, make sure that your seam is very neat. You know, this will be reflecting on the outside, but make it as tiny as possible and as neat as possible for you to have neat finishing. So after this, now I'm going to place the back on the front piece, and I'm going to show you how we're going to sew the side. So you just place the two together, the right side facing the right side, and you stitch the side. So for the elastic we'll be using for this, for the back neckline, you're going to use your waist measurements divided by 4. So if you divide your waist measurements by 4, you'll be adding 3 inches. That is method 1. The second method is your waist measurements divided by 2, minus 2 or 3 inches. Note, if you're using waist measurements divided by 4, whatever you get, you will be adding 3 inches to that. But if you're using the second waist measurement divided by 2, you're going to take away either 2 inches or 3 inches. And now for the bubbled area, whereby we will be having our bubble effect and flared effect. You use your exact waist measurement, but you're going to subtract either 2 or 3 inches for you not to have a bulky allowance at the back side. So I was here trying to insert the elastic into the upper part of the dress at the back, and after inserting that, I went ahead to stitch, and here was me trying to show you what I had after stitching the neckline down, and at the same time the side of the dress. This was the inside of how the dress looked, and I was trying here in order to make sure that I joined the lines together for me to add my elastic. And here was me on the sewing machine. You can see that as I was stretching, this is where the work is. You stretch your elastic so hard, as in very hard, and now this elastic will not be able to run along the length of what we have on our flared hair. So as you are stretching, you gather along, and when you get to the last part of this, you're going to place that elastic on the first one, that is the first side where you started from. You're going to place the elastic on it, and you run your stitch, and as you're running your stitch, you stretch it as well and make sure that your stitch is very firm. And this brings us to the end of this tutorial. And after this is what you're supposed to have. If you're not having anything like this after you're done sewing, that means something has gone wrong somewhere. And if there is anything you don't understand in this tutorial, please kindly ask your question in the comment section. I will be right there. If you find this video helpful, please kindly share, comment, and like. Tell a friend to join our channel. If you have not subscribed, please, I beg you in the name of God, kindly subscribe to this channel. See you next time. Remember to drop your question. Love you.